Kitty. Welcome to the lockdown sessions. How are you in Barcelona?
I'm good. I'm good. It's really nice here. It's sunny and just very different than all of Europe. I know Europe is like a lockdown and snow everywhere, but here it's like another world, honestly.
Um, I kind of feel really sad all of a sudden at the thought that you've got
Ah,
beautiful sunshine, you've got a world that you can go out in. Yeah, it's cold and miserable. It's been freezing with a beast from the east wind cold for the last few days, but it's going to warm up again this week. So I think we won't have sunshine, but we will have warmer weather.
and you can't go out also, right? The lockdown is getting worse. It's just
Yeah, people are being
uh,
forced to be quite strict. The numbers are all coming down now. It's still too high, and they haven't quite decided how they're going to let us come back to kind of living again. So the vaccine rollout seems very strong here in the UK. They've done 25% of the population already.
wow,
Um,
amazing.
so with 60 million people to do, they've already done more than 15.
Wow.
So if by maybe April, May, they've done like another big section, I'm hoping by then we can travel again, have some different scenery.
Yeah. No, you definitely need it. So
It's all been the same. So look, welcome to the lockdown sessions, which over the last sort of a year nearly has been an opportunity for people to come on and kind of talk about what they do, their observations on the lockdown. Um, and as someone who helps businesses and someone who helps others attract clients and generate business for themselves, you work as an entrepreneur. So you've got another perspective on being in lockdown, because entrepreneurs and people who run their own businesses, well, they've not had the best protection from governments around the world when it's come to kind of being looked after during this pandemic. So my opening question to you, and it's the same to everyone, is what have your observations been? Like, what are the key things that have kind of been shown to you when you've looked out and observed the world during this last year as a business owner, as someone who's living across Europe? What have you noticed? What have you observed?
So when the lockdown happened last March, like literally almost a year, I wasn't really um, concerned with COVID because, anyways, I was already used to sitting at home and working from home, and everyone else in offices had to shift.
Yeah,
So they had that crazy shift. Oh my God, like, what do we do? We need to, we have kids and family, need to make a home office. While for me, I was so comfortable. I already knew how to use Zoom and my life didn't go upside down. So I didn't feel the COVID or the lockdown. I'm like, perfect. No parties, no going out, no lunches, no commitment. It's time to focus only on my business. So it's was been really cool because a lot of people, a lot of entrepreneurs just focus 100% on their businesses. There is no excuse, no more excuses. Oh, I need to do this. We have these parties and gatherings and errands. You can't. You have to stay home and work. So that's been interesting. But also the issue is a lot of people got burnout and overwhelmed. I had 16-hour days and then I had burnout at 34. I'm like, what? I took a month off. So because there's no boundaries between hours, people are just tending to overwork all the time, and there is no weekends because of lockdown. So I realize there's a whole community and people talking about overwhelm and burnout because you don't have boundaries, and so much competition to work 16 hour. You know how like entrepreneurs need to work 16 hours, 60-hour a week, so you don't work 40-hour a week for somebody. But they don't know how hard it is to run your own hours, and no accountability, no one to tell you when to stop, so it's been cool to manage yourself and time while there's no while you end up not seeing people because of lockdown. So it's been challenging, but the whole online community is awesome. Like, we can have this conversation in lockdown or speak to people in Australia and Canada that feel the same way. So we got more connected. So that's been the positive side of COVID for me.
it is true, isn't it? We've become physically disconnected, but actually digitally we're hyper connected now.
Always connected. Like, I'm always having back to back Zoom calls with clients and then my friends. I'm like, can I have some time alone? Like
Right.
yeah, but I'm like I'm so connected. Like everyone's bored at home, and so yeah, no, it's been interesting.
How have you made that balance? Because I chuckle a little bit when you say, I chose to leave a 40-hour a week job so I could work for 60 for myself, sometimes 80, sometimes 90. I think Elon Musk suggests if you're not doing 112 hours a week, you won't ever be successful. It's like, well,
Yeah, yeah. When
I'll
you
listen to that, but I'm not sure I've got 106 work hours in me a week.
no, no,
But it is easy, isn't it, when you are at home all day, just, especially if it's your business, just to always find something to do, because you don't really switch off when it's your business. We've had a lot of leaders on this lockdown sessions podcast, and we've often talked about people inside organizations, but I haven't had that many entrepreneurs on who have talked about what it's like to run their own business. And how, you said before, you were challenged by it. How did you overcome it? How did you find that balance?
when I worked for March and April, like strictly, like this is the time, I went all in. So then by May, and I had no weekends because I was in Dubai during that, and we had a 24-hour lockdown, like you can't even leave. So in May I was like, I'm done. Like I was overeating, emotional eating, I wasn't exercising. So I also stopped exercising because I had no time. Like I need to work.
Right.
So I took a month off. So I'm like, instead of allowing burnout to come and taking a month off and losing money, I should just pace myself. So that's when I started having Saturday, Sunday, no work.
Right.
I disconnected. So ever since I started having like Friday, I cut off by afternoon and I have a long weekend, even if I don't do anything, I'll do that. And that ended up working. And I started saying that I wanna start having long weekends. I'd rather be happy and exhaust myself in that weekend, like go out and I ended up traveling to go back home so that I can be excited to come to work. I don't want to, it's my own business. I don't want it to be a dreadful Monday, like back in a 9 to 6 job. I want to be excited to come to work. And the only way I did that by setting boundaries,
Yeah.
by having a long weekend. I'm like, I don't. You're supposed to have your own business so you can enjoy working on your business. If I'm not going to enjoy it, I don't need 10K months.
Yeah.
That thing. So also there's so much competition out there. Like when you're on Instagram, you see all these girls, yeah, I'm working on the weekend. Like, sure, but then you don't have a life. You're not even with your partner, you're not even with your family. Like, I don't want that. So that's what helped me. And now I don't have overwhelm and burnout. So yeah, it's been good.
That's interesting, isn't it? Just stopping for a moment and stepping off and
Yeah.
taking a weekend. For you, a long weekend. I get that. I try and make my Fridays finish at 3 o'clock, and then Saturday always off, and sometimes Sunday it creeps in, and I find myself in the office or opening the laptop, and it's a fight even now after 25 years to sort of stop looking at what could be done, and taking that break is just so critical. I'm interested in when you talk about sort of there is a lot of competition as an online entrepreneur. Um, how did you come up with your business model, and how do you cope with all the flooding of social media for people selling services?
For people selling my kind of services, you mean like the competition out there?
Yeah,
Yeah. Um, I don't actually see competition on people out there when what I do. I don't follow like other marketing. I only follow my ideal clients and I consume their content and engage with them and learn about what they do. So, but the competition that I feel is just people that are just working, and making 10K months or whatever. So not even in my industry, in just in the coaching industry, because those are my type of clients. So it's just like it makes you feel like, oh, I'm not doing enough. I'm so slow. But they say the only competition is yourself. Like you can compare yourself to yesterday. I compare myself from last year. I used to hate video marketing, and now I'm like trying to do Instagram lives every day, and I create reels and videos, and so that's how I learned not to to compete with other people, what they're doing, 10K months, and I don't know what. It does. You end up, makes you feel like stuck, or makes you inact, like not work. You're like, oh no, there's just too much. I'm just not gonna do anything. So I try. Also, you need to stop consuming content, but because my world is here,
Right.
so it does get tough. It's not easy. Like I see so much, and then I'm just saying, okay, I'm not going to do anything instead of
I
actually doing it.
I removed news apps from my phone after a couple of months of the pandemic. When I go on holiday, I remove all apps from my phone that are related to work, so I can't even see them. Um, and actually, there's nothing nicer than having a few days or a week off from sort of social media. Um,
Yeah.
but I'm interested in what you were saying before with coaches and all that competition that people have out there to have their 10K months. I see it as well. You see quite a lot of people advertising on LinkedIn. Do you want £10,000 a month coaching clients and all this? And I'm always a little dubious. I'm more dubious of the coach who talks about that. Like, what sits behind the reason why you feel the need to share your income every month with me? Like, what's behind that? It sounds to me like you might need coaching, because there's something going on there around self-esteem needs that perhaps coaching could explore. Or maybe I'm being too ironic. I don't know. You probably interact more with these people.
Yeah, so it depends. So the business coaches out there, they want to be like I was telling you earlier, they want to be transparent and show you how you can create 10K months, or the breakdown of their income if they made six figure without launching or with launching. It's really just being so transparent, because like I said, like coaching is it's intangible. Like the results are not measured through tangible metrics. It's intangible. I'm going to help you be a better marketeer. I'm going to help you better, get you better in coaching your clients or in sales, etc. So just them being transparent on how they achieve that, it helps other people want to convert from what is it, like someone who's skeptical into a paid client. And it's what people want. That's why they promote 10K pound months. Because when you go and you do market research, you ask, okay, what do you want? You're like, I want to be 100% booked out. I want to make 10K months, because it's what the world communicated. And it's not our fault, or business coaches. It's all these ClickFunnels people and Elon Musk and Warren Buffett. They are the ones that are promoting how much money for us to make.
Yeah.
So then when you see other people making, oh, that's what I want. Like I told you, I don't want 10K months. What's 10K months gonna do if I'm gonna be burnt out and work 16? I don't want that. You
Yeah, in
know.
order to earn 10K, you've actually got to bring in around 15K's worth of business. And to bring in 15K's worth of business is a shed load of work.
Yeah. So
Hourly sessions.
no, it's intense. Like it's the culture of hustling. And now that's what people are trying to preach. It's not just about hustling. You don't need to work that much. It's just different ways. Of preaching, and then they say that to become a six-figure coach, I work for 3 hours a week.
Right. Yeah, that doesn't.
That's even getting challenging. It's like, because then they charge high ticket. They have three clients, paying them each 20K. So in 6 months they'll have six figures, but they got there with a lot of work. And now this is what you're preaching. So that's why people get overwhelmed and anxiety. I get anxious. Like, oh my God, so much work to do. We have to get to that.
Right.
That's why it was hard, right? It's not easy, especially like now young entrepreneurs going into the world. Like I've been working for 10 years, so it's fine. But new entrepreneurs being driven, like, okay, you need to hustle, hustle, so you can make six figure and 10K. No, no, no. It's not a life.
It's no life at all, is it? I remember thinking when I set up in business that I'd never need to ask anybody permission to go on holiday ever again. And the problem was that was great, but I never went on holiday for years.
Yeah, no. I don't
right?
know.
So it's just the wrong way round. Um, that kind of thirst, that I mean, on at worst it's greediness, at best it's ambition. Um, that must mean there are a lot of people out there who aren't as authentic, aren't as transparent. How do people see through that? How do they make sure they get the right person helping them? So if I'm if I've got you and someone else, how do I know that I don't go for that really glossy, lovely looking 10K a month promise for 3 hours a week work? I love the sound of that, by the way. 10K for 3 hours. I'm there. Sign me up. Um, how do people like me who don't know the rules of engagement, what do we look for to spot authenticity?
It's basically it's content marketing. It's through your content, like for someone to show that they're an expert in what they do. So like if you're consuming their content, whether it's an article or a video, or their website or an email, like that's where you nurture your leads. If you're like, this resonates with me, yeah, she's speaking my mind, like, okay, that's what I want, and you like her personality or their personality, so you resonate more with that person. And also testimonials, social, what's now called social proof, like that's the thing. A lot of coaches, in order to convince people that you can trust me, they show social proof or basically bragging about, this is what I achieved for this client, that's what she achieved, that's how much money she made. It's all about like taking screenshots now. Like if you see, it's really like that's the beginning of bragging. So you brag about how much money you make, but then you brag about what your clients are achieving.
Right.
They're all making these sales because they hired you to be their business coach, and that's their results. So that's how they convert skeptical people into clients, because you're showing other people, and obviously a discovery call. So it's basically content marketing that does help to convert someone who's skeptical or doesn't trust the person. They need to see the coach or the service provider 7 to 8 times to buy from them, right? That's like the
Yeah.
average. You want to see the product 7 to 8 times. That's why they preach, or marketeers preach, and business coach, get on video, talk to your clients, let them feel you, hear your voice, get on trainings, give people value before you ask for money. So it's a lot of work, but it's worth it, because then you don't need to do 100 sales call a month and convert 10%. You could do 5 and close 60%, because these people took time to get to know you, uh, you know and build that trust, and no no factor, so
Okay, but what about the guys, say, who are not as genuine? So maybe they're not as skilled. It is all, a sales pitch. How can you spot that true credibility? I suppose you're talking about the trust in them. How do I know if someone's credible? Because anyone can screenshot. I mean, I could probably go onto one of their websites and screenshot something and say, that's my client said that.
true, yeah. um I mean, yeah, like, I mean, there's a lot of phonies out there and fake ones. So it's about, and there's so much competition out there. So if you're gonna notice, if one guy says, "I can get you 100 leads," and then you never see his face, or never jumps on a, you're not part of his email magnet or email sequence. He doesn't post anything. So, and then there's this other person who's always on camera, and you always see them, you're in their email list, so you're like, okay, I this person is in my notifications all the time,
Yeah.
so maybe they have something to say, other than those guys that are just, like they just want to be like somebody else. So that's the competition there. It's like by, you know being more present and in your leads, ideal clients notifications. So, but yeah, no, you shouldn't trust anyone. Definitely, you have to see social proof. You have to see the results. And there's so much competition that we all compare multiple services, right? Like there's so many marketeers out there, and a lot of people are skeptical of marketeers. And I always used to get that,
Hey.
like when I run ads, someone ran an ad for someone and they didn't get them results. that guy didn't do a good job doesn't mean all marketeers are bad, or somebody hires a business coach and they didn't achieve, so that doesn't mean all business coaches are bad.
Right.
So yeah, people take time to buy from someone. It's our job to be more present online because there's so many more people present online. So
It shows how developing a relationship, you don't actually have to be present. You just have to be delivering valid content that's rich in context for people.
yeah, giving value, like I'm asking someone to pay me, I don't know, 5K, but she's never even, I've never helped her out. So then I start giving them tips, like everyone's like, oh, don't give your value away. That was the old way of, thinking. Now everybody is sharing all their tips. And so if I learned something from this business coach and I applied it to my business and it got results, imagine when I pay her, imagine the results I'm going to get then. So now, like, also it's generational, like I have a business coach now actually from the UK, and he gives 20-minute free consultation. That's it. And he doesn't like go online and create content, but I'm teaching him now to do that, because people, if they're going to pay that much to help their businesses, they need something in return. And there's so much competition out there. You can't just like go online, find a business coach and hire him and you never met the guy. No, like you're not going to pay him 50K to run your, right? So it takes time now. And we're like a greedy buyers now. What is it called? Like fear of missing out on hiring a
FOMO.
different FOMO, yeah. So and yeah, so it's interesting, but it makes us better at sales. Like the level, the quality that you have to be at is getting higher and higher, which is good because you get better. You develop your own skills, right? Like,
Yeah.
so no, it's been interesting, but definitely not 60-hour week. That I'm not. I'm not buying that. I don't want the 100K and
Not for 60 hours a week. Talk to me a little bit about what you've seen in your clients and how they've responded to the pandemic. Because obviously you were saying before, suddenly you were okay when it all turned because you were working from home. Everyone else was suddenly going home, or new businesses that had just set up and started were suddenly hit by this, everyone working from home and corporates cancelling sort of, contracts left, right and centre. What have you seen? How have you seen your clients be resilient, make sure they bounce back, cope with the struggles of lockdown? What have you sort of been seeing?
so when I first started approaching coaches was probably by April. That's when I realized I was working with a different industry, real estate. And real estate was completely halted. Like no one could do visits, no one was able to rent. So that industry just paused. So I'm like, okay, I need to switch to the online coaching industry. That's how I actually got into it, because they were already online. So I didn't need to worry, because I was speaking to real estate companies, they're all shifting. So I'm like, I don't have time to work with them on them shifting to working from home and all that. I need to start working with people that are already like me set up. So I actually avoided that time. And when I was learning more about the online coaches and what they needed, because I was doing my market research, um, they never needed a marketeer before, because all their businesses came from referrals, word of mouth, networking events. Like you just go to networking events, or like HR teams. You're part of the HR coaching profile, and they'd get you jobs. So then all of a sudden, the well was dry. They had no pipeline of leads, no businesses, and now they were feeling stuck and overwhelmed. Like, what do I do? And the whole concept of, I used to always coach my clients face to face. How are they gonna buy from me now that I'm online? So yeah, like I had to go through this with some of them, but then I'd always go with the client that was just ready to start. Like I couldn't take time myself to like sit and teach them. Like, okay, guys, it'll be okay. Yeah, yes, clients will pay you $10,000 even though they're in Canada and you're in Australia. So so I needed to go with like coaches that were ready, like, yes, let's do it. My clients already shifted online. So, and the other industry I was working with was personal trainers.
Oh, okay.
That was even worse. I was like, ah, no. It's like, yeah, who's gonna pay me to coach them PT online? And they had to also. That was harder. So I couldn't waste my time actually with them. So that doesn't really answer your question. I was being more strategic. I'm like, I can't work with real estate or PT. I need to go to an industry that's already online and ready and set. And
Yeah.
so I just switched to online coaches because I was seeing resistance. I'm not going to pay you to get me. And then they kept saying, wait till the gym's open. The gym's never opened. I was not going to sit and wait for you for the gym to open. So I was actually fast. So that was a good thing actually.
I think it definitely helped people who were already working virtually.
Yeah.
I know even within training and coaching, so both sides of that sort of industry, some companies who were very much, in the classroom running sort of live workshops, they had more difficulty sort of turning their stuff around into virtual. And we were fortunate because we were running webinars from 2011, so
That's
already,
good. Yeah.
yeah, so platforms. So suddenly when it happens, it's like, can you run this virtually? Yes, of course we can, with a bit of a tweak and a bit of design. Of course it can be done. Um, I suppose when you look forward, because the world has changed so much now, and no doubt over the next year, as things start to even out across the globe, people start to look again at expanding. What do you see as the future challenges in kind of, your world of marketing from an advertising perspective, from a pitching business? Where do you see the challenges coming out of this pandemic?
Um, Challenges. I mean, it's not related to lockdown. The challenges that we always have as marketeers is the new platforms out there all the time. Like just by when you started getting into Instagram lives and IGTVs, like, okay, now there's Clubhouse. I'm like, another social media, like that's getting overwhelming. Like Elon Musk is on it, and this is how you grow like organic reach and expand your visibility. Get on Clubhouse, and now there's coaches to how to create a Clubhouse room, and it's like, oh my god, again, like as a marketeer, I have to know, like it's not about being on all these platforms. So if I'm a marketeer and I find it overwhelming, I bet a lot of clients find it also overwhelming. They're like, I'm never going to be good enough. There's all this younger generation and all these like coaches out there creating all this, so it does create this like inadequacy and comparing yourself, like, I'm not doing enough. My emails suck. I don't even get on video, and now there's this new app called Clubhouse. It's like, and TikTok, and forcing people to dance and pinpoint. And I'm a marketeer, but I hate that stuff. So I do see some of my clients like a bit hesitant, but then I tell them that your clients are not consuming TikTok. They're on LinkedIn and they like to read articles or YouTube videos. So just produce that. Don't get overwhelmed. It's not about being on all the platforms. It's about being on the platform where your ideal clients are. So the challenge that I see is this competition of producing much better quality and like being present on all these platforms and um, just that's the only challenge. Other than that, I don't see any challenges. I don't know. I
Right.
don't find that. I don't see challenges. They're
No,
all
clearly not.
opportunities to me.
Yeah, I love that. Actually,
Yeah,
the only challenge is the fact that there are so many platforms that are popping up. You've got to stay on top of them. But I think your real message there is more important. It's not about the platforms. It's actually about knowing who your audience is. Actually,
exactly,
if you're in business, who is your audience, and where do you need to be for them to see you?
exactly.
And I think it's interesting, isn't it? 5, 6 years ago, Google Ads were flying, and then now you talk to people when they sort of, although everyone still goes, I think, to Google first, when they Google something, how many people click on the ads?
Yeah, now we don't even see it. It doesn't exist
right?
anymore. Like
Right.
you don't see it.
You scroll down below the ads and then start clicking. So the way consumers are even digesting and consuming the way we're being advertised, it becomes more and more savvy almost every week.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah. What's a challenge also actually is like the speed of things are changing. Like just when you get the hang of something, like everyone uses Mailchimp, for example, right? But now there's a better tool called Flowdesk, for example. So you have to learn that tactic because it's a much better platform. So I'm a marketeer, and that's a challenge for me. So for my clients, it's also a challenge, and now they have to like Kajabi and Dubsado and all these tools. They do make your life better, but it's just the time to learn them. So it just gets overwhelming. So that's one of the challenges. But like I said, you don't need to use all the email, Google Drive, and whatever you need. It's not going to make you a better coach.
Yeah, I think the overwhelming point is well made, um, and I think that that the other point you make, which I find interesting and I think is relevant, is the speed, because change happens really fast and transition happens quite slowly, and I suppose that's what business owners, entrepreneurs, people looking to engage in really marketing themselves, because it's not just about marketing your content, is it? You're marketing you. This is all
Mm.
about your brand visibility. And most people, so do you work with people on their branding or just on their content visibility?
Yeah, like personal branding. So we work more on content marketing, but it does fall on personal branding. That's a whole thing. That's like running photo shoots and creating like high quality videos and pictures and just being the face of your business. But I am the face of my business. My clients are the face of the business. And my clients don't want to do videos. Like I can't tell my business coach client, he's like 55, to get on videos all the time. He doesn't like that. And that's not how he consumes content.
Yeah.
And that's not how he wants to create content. He's used to creating, writing emails and content. So my job is to get him to produce content because this is how we handle objections. Before he never used to. Now we get that. And I tell him, if you want, get on video if you'd like. But I can't force them because it was hard for me to do it. And this is my generation, Instagram, and I consume it a lot. So it's hard to get, um, you know, uh, 40 people and above to like start getting on content. And hey, guys, this is where you know what I mean? Like, so I work more on generating leads and content marketing, getting them to handle objections, and getting in front of their ideal market, target audience. Because it's not about I need to push my clients to get on sales calls
Yeah.
more than on creating content because that's you're selling one on one. If I'm going to hire a leadership coach, I want to get on a call with him and see if I'm you know um, you know happy to work with him or not, like feel comfortable. So I don't work on personal branding. That's
Someone
it's
else's
more like selling the coach.
bag.
Yeah, someone else probably could do that. Like I had a client actually now she wanted to do that, but that's a lot of work also. Personal branding that's like a year project
Yeah.
that doesn't get you clients now. That's like you want to show off who you are, what you do, blah blah blah. But that's not my forte, as they say.
Yes, well, I prefer more organic things, and as I shared with you before we pushed record, my whole attitude towards content changed when, after spending years writing long articles for LinkedIn and not getting lots of views, I posted a picture of an empty chair and got 14,000 views, and I realized that this is how we consume content now. It's images and it's more about short, sharp, sort of
Yeah.
quick attention span. Um, I want to bring this round into a full circle, Elias. So I'd be really interested to understand from your perspective. Do you feel that you've been able to thrive during this pandemic because you're running your own entrepreneurial business? And the second part to that question, what are you looking forward to as we move through 2021? So have you been able to thrive, and what are you looking forward to?
Oh, definitely. Like before the lockdown, I was easily distracted, and I wasn't pushing myself. But the lockdown forced us to just focus on our business, and I'm so happy that I was running my business and not working for someone and being away from my colleagues. That must have been hard for people. So it allowed us not to have so much time or vacations or long weekends, like partying and distraction. So no, I'm so happy for this, because now when the world is opening up, I already have my business, I have my my team, my like everything is set up, so I could take these long holidays and I can afford it even more. And no, so I'm super happy. I'm excited for 2021 because I'm also shifting my services into becoming a coach myself as a marketing coach, and I'm hiring two more people. So it's really cool. Like I have a social media manager in India and another one in Philippines. Like it's so cool that you could just run everything from this laptop and this phone. It's really such an interesting time. So I'm looking forward to getting into marketing coaching and yeah, and working 30-hour weeks instead of 60. I'm looking forward for that. But I'm actually very grateful for this COVID. It didn't affect my life so much. It actually forced me to focus on my business and show all my strengths. I learned a lot about myself because you're in a room and you're on your laptop, and then you have access to the world and just so much potential out there. So yeah, no, I'm excited.
So you're going to be coaching marketeers
No, I'm gonna be a marketing coach for coaches.
for
So
coach.
for
Okay.
coaches, yeah, because I realized when I was working with clients, I was teaching them things about marketing and coaching them on things. And some clients want to learn how to do it, so they don't need to rely
Mhm.
on always hiring a service provider, and they like to learn, why am I running an ad, like what does that do, you know what I mean? So that's what I realized.
I
They
love
don't want just done for you services, they want to learn it. And it's, I don't know, this online coaching is, everybody wants to learn. They want to, like, everyone now has time to consume.
right.
That's why there's all these like programs and everybody's consuming and learning. So I would have never thought there's such a industry like that. But I only learned about it from this crazy lockdown period.
Well, I always used to say when my family and I, when we were all kind of having children, we were looking at these little kids 20 years ago saying, we can't even imagine the kind of jobs these kids will do,
Mm.
because we just didn't have an idea that there would be, like you say, someone who would actually be part as a marketing coach or as a content, provider and marketer. I mean, it's just fascinating. Alia, will you come back in a few months' time and talk to us again?
Oh yes, I'd love to. This time I'll coach, hopefully.
Yeah, right. So we'll bring you back as a coach, and we'll talk about marketing coaching, what that's like. Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the sunshine in Barcelona,
Thank
and
you.
I look forward to the next time we connect. Thank you so much for your positive energy.
Thank you for having me. We'll speak soon for sure.
Yeah, that was brilliant. Thank you.